What's up, everybody? Josh with Slyman Brothers, aka the Appliance Nerd, back with another episode of Cooking with the Nerd. A lot of people think that I have a good steak recipe. I don't know. I watch a lot of cooking shows. I love steak, so I figured I would just kind of do my own thing. So I just figured I'd make a little video today, show everybody what I do. Just have a little baby fillet today, just cooking for myself. The most important thing, not maybe the most important thing, super important to let it come up to room temperature. And we're going to do pan sear today. So you don't want to put any seasonings on besides salt because it'll burn and affect the flavor. So all we're going to do, give it a little fresh cracked salt. Bada boom, bada bing. I don't think I can say pow or something. I don't want to trademark anything. You can slap it. It's okay. Make your own joke, I guess. So that's it. We're going to salt it. We're going to let it sit for a couple of hours, and then we'll come back and let the magic happen. See you in a minute. Okay, and we're back. Now I've let that come up to room temperature. That's important because we're doing a high temperature pan sear, so we want to get a nice crust on the outside. But if the meat's too cold, then the inside's not going to be done as well as we want it to by the time the outside's finished. So just makes it more tender. It makes it cook more evenly all the way through. I'm no chef. I'm a home cook. Chefs out there, comment, tell me why I'm wrong. I don't know. But that's what I've always heard. It works for me. I'm going to get this burner going. You always want to do this on a pretty high temperature. Now this is induction. Induction gets hot fast. I'm going to use olive oil, but not the dark green olive oil like the extra virgin. I was making that mistake for a while. I found out later that the lighter, like yellow olive oil, has a lower viscosity or higher viscosity. Anyway, viscosity is when an oil breaks down. So whenever you use the darker green, that's kind of the olive oil that you put on salads and dip bread in and stuff. But if you cook with it, it's going to smoke a lot versus you're going to have a lower smoking point with the lighter. So some are actually made specifically for cooking, and it took me a while to learn that. So now maybe you just learned that. Pan's getting hot. She's singing to me, so I'm on the induction. It's up to temp already. So it's important to get your pan hot before you put the oil in. I like to use a generous amount of oil because I like a really good crust on the outside. Once you see it kind of waving around a little bit, that's when it's time for the steak to go in. Try not to wait until it's smoking. Good to go. So pop it in. And there we go. We're going to let that go for, that's a pretty thick steak. I'm going to let it go for a minute and a half or so on each side. And I'm going to also go around the edges. What we're doing is we're searing in all the juice. If you don't get the edges, then a lot of that juice and moisture is going to escape out of the sides. So I'll try and get some cool shots of this while it's going on. And then once it's all crusted around, come right back. So you can see at the bottom there, we're starting to get a little crust forming. Oh yeah, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little flip now. Sorry for the shaky hand here, but we'll give it a try. Oh, so it's still stuck on the bottom. That's another thing I learned. If it's still stuck, then that means the meat's still kind of not done yet. Once it's actually cooked all the way, those meat fibers will come together and pull itself off your stainless steel. So we're going to give that just another minute. All right, we're free here. Here's the reveal. Oh yeah, that's a nice crust. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom side, then we'll hit the edges. Now while that bottom side's cooking, we still have a little bit of time. You'll notice all this splatter. I'm a messy cook. That's what I love about these inductions. This is the Wolf 36-inch induction range. Because there's no heat put off by the actual burner, you can get right in there and clean. Normally on electric, any of this stuff around the burner gets so hot that all these little splatters char on. and it's so hard to clean. With induction, literally wiping it away as we cook. So easy to keep things clean and to clean up afterwards. All right, bottom side done. Look at that crust. All right, now we're going to hit the edges just a little bit. This isn't really part of the cooking process necessarily. We're just going to sear in just enough to get a little sear on the bottom. So we'll go all the way around that and then to the next step. Now we're cooking. All right, so one more edge to sear up here. Now one of the final steps is you can put some herbs on if you like. I usually go with rosemary. That's what we've got here. I'm going to put a bunch on because I love a good strong rosemary flavor, and some butter. We're gonna do a butter base to finish this off. I actually found this. I don't know what it is, but shout out to whatever this company is. Like, I don't even know how to say that. Epicurean. Anyway, it's a black truffle butter, so I'm excited about this. All right, we have a sear all the way around. Here's the last step. This is where the magic happens. A lot of people at this point take it off and finish it in the oven. I like to finish it off in the pan from start to finish. So I'm going to take a generous scoop of my butter. The more the better. More butter is better. Putting it right in the pan, letting it mix up with that oil. That's going to give me a nice amount of liquid to baste over the top of the meat. And then I'm going to take all my rosemary. I like to try and put it on the meat. If you get it down in the oil, some of it's going to get down there anyway, but if it's all down in there, then it'll kind of burn. You'll get more of a charred flavor instead of that nice clean. And then we're just going to spoon over that butter right over top of the steak, right over top of the rosemary. And at this point, you're just doing this until it hits your preferred doneness. I like between a rare and medium rare. You want to go a little bit more, you go a little bit more. All right. Ooh, that rosemary is so fragrant. So at this point, I'm going to take the rosemary off. Flip my steak. Oh, I wish there was smell on videos. I think it's coming soon. So we're just continuing that process. Show you guys here what that's looking like so far. Oh yeah. And you can do the old test. Okay, I can tell I learned something if you hold it like this and this and this. I just, over time, as I cook steaks, I can kind of feel how hard or soft it is, and I'll know if it's at my preferred doneness level. Just going by how soft it is. It's how most chefs do it. Set that here. So, important to let it come up to room temperature before you cook it. We discussed that. Most important, possibly the most important step in cooking a steak, letting it rest. So, I'm the appliance nerd. I get nerdy about stuff. Molecules in hot meat are going all over the place like this, like a bunch of kids jumping around in a room. As soon as a door opens, they're running out the door. They're all anxious and ready to go. We're going to let that rest. Think of it as like all those kids in a room taking a nap, right? Resting. I'm very clever, I know. So once everything's rested, those molecules have slowed way down. So once you cut that steak and it's hot, all your liquids and juices that we've just seared in there nicely spill out onto the plate. And then you get to dab it all up with butter. So that's great. But if you want the juice in actual every bite of steak that you take, let it rest. I usually do it 15, 20 minutes. So we're gonna do that and then come back, cut it open, see how it is. So be right back for that. All right, so while our steak's resting, ooh, she's looking pretty, huh? Yeah. While that's resting, I'm gonna clean up my mess. And here's the easiest part. Turn that off. So I've got this oil is everywhere on here, right around this burner. Literally paper towel. Just took this off, I don't know, 20 seconds ago. And I'm just gonna wipe everything off. Look how quickly it just goes away, and I don't have to wait for it to cool down so I don't burn my hand. We'll give it a couple sprays of some nice spritz, but the cleanup of induction is just amazing. So we'll be right back with the reveal. All right, time for the moment of truth. Let's see how she turned out. Been resting for about maybe 20 minutes now. Cleaned up the kitchen. Oh yeah. Before I cut it all the way through, one of my stepsons, I can't remember which one, shout out Brock and Dane, one of them said they saw a video where they said the perfect steak, you can hear it when you run the knife across the top. Let's test that. Don't know if you can hear that ASMR. Maybe that's my next video series, but definitely making some noise. Let's see what happens here. Oh, and there you have a beautiful, juicy, medium rare chunk of steak with a beautiful crust on the outside. Just that easy. This is just a small, cheap filet. You can do this same with a ribeye, a strip steak, whatever kind of steak you like. All right, guys, that's it for me. I have a steak here, so I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy some lunch. If you try this recipe, let me know how it turns out. If you have anything to add, anything you would do differently in yours, I'm glad to hear it. I will always say it. I'm not a chef. I'm a cook. I love food. I love appliances. Always eager to learn more. So good. All right, guys. Peace. I did forget to mention one thing. Sorry, the steak's gone. It was too good. If you do want to put any seasonings on it besides just the salt that we added at the beginning, sprinkle your seasonings on it when you lay it down to rest. If you want to do some cracked pepper, some cayenne, anything like that. Again, if you cook it in the oils and in the butter, it's going to get bitter. It's going to burn pretty much instantly. So the only thing you want to have on it while it's cooking is the salt. Again, that's just from my experience and from what I've heard and what I've learned. Chefs, comment down below if I'm wrong, or any other suggestions you have for our viewers. All right, thanks again. Peace.